three filmmakers with nothing in common. They thought they had it all figured out. They don't just follow the movies, they make them. Alexander Pavlak, Mario Silvas, and Jamal Alexander are the makers on film.
Hold on. Man kicked out of an all-you-can-eat buffet after staying 7 hours eating 50 to 70 pounds of food. Surprisingly, not a picture of Mikey. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I didn't eat all I could eat.
They, they, they basically told him to leave after 7 hours and then gave him 100 pounds of crab legs, and then he left.
Well, usually places like that have the sign in it that says, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone.
Yeah.
So it's not like you really need a reason.
Oh, I've been kicked out of an all-you-can-eat buffet.
We could start doing some of the stuff here. Have you been watching any of the Kanye West stuff that's been going on last week?
So all I know is that he's supposedly $53 million in debt. I don't know if that's true or not, because this is all just what I've heard.
Yeah.
He's $53 million in debt. He has started creating a video game.
Really?
And it's about his mom or his grandma. I don't remember. But it's about their flight into heaven. And even the testers were like, "Wow, this is a piece of shit."
Is he like a Mormon or something?
I don't know. I want to believe he's something to make up for all of this stupidity and this big-headedness he has.
Well, that's the thing I want to ask. Is this all because he's crazy, or is this all planned as a way of advertising for other things, like his new album that just dropped?
Okay, so honestly, I think a couple years ago, I would have said it was advertising.
Mm-hmm.
What was that saying? News is news.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I don't think he's doing it like on purpose anymore.
Because
I think this is just who he is, and he's just not a smart man.
He boycotted the Grammys,
right,
to because he's like, I'm not going to come to the Grammys unless I win Album of the Year, but he wasn't nominated for Album of the Year. So it's basically him saying, I'm not going to the Grammys. But here, I'm sending you a video. You have to watch it. It's Stephen Colbert. It's like 6 minutes, and it's all about Kanye. And then we can talk more about it when you're a little more familiar with what's
going on. Got it. Hey, hold on, I'm watching it right now.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, obviously, you have to take some of that with a grain of salt.
Some of it, but
yeah, no. I'm not saying all of it. I'm saying you have to take some of it with a grain of salt because it is, it's viewed as on one side of the story. But Jesus Christ, God damn.
No, but that last one where he was all he was like, you build a school like you're helping Africa. Like, who gets mad about that? That's an actual tweet. So it's like, yes, you take it with a grain of salt, but on the other hand, he's actually saying this shit. So
yeah, and that's what I'm just kind of like.
I mean, he has a sense of humor
about that. Is he that dumb, or is he just like? Is he doing this on purpose because he thinks it's going to get him more Twitter followers for whatever the fuck that's worth nowadays? Actually, probably a lot. I don't follow that.
That's what I'm saying, though, because he tweeted out one that said, don't you hate it when you wake up on an airplane with a water bottle? Because now I'm all like, I have to be responsible for this water bottle now. And I'm like, okay, I get that one. That one's funny. That one's purposely a joke that he's making fun of, somebody, probably one of his,
Sorry,
yeah,
cops.
yeah. He is probably making fun of one of his crew, his wife, one of his entourage, putting a water bottle on him or leaving him with a water bottle or whatever,
Right.
ordering him some water when he's sleeping. And then, he makes a joke, now I got to be responsible for this water bottle. That's funny. But the question is the other stuff that he's doing, is that all jokes too? Or is this go back and forth? Is he really kind of crazy, egomaniacal, whatever?
See, here's the thing. I don't know if he's actually crazy. I just think I'm going to say he's just a little off his rocker. He's getting his wife is famous for
Nothing.
fucking another black dude. No, she's famous for fucking another black dude. That's it. Why the fuck is? Hold on.
Well, you do know that Kanye fell in love with Kim after seeing that video. That he would.
That was your text I just received. Apparently.
What did I just text you?
How late are you running?
Oh, I'm
I'm,
sorry. That was supposed to be
I'm
for
here,
Joel.
dude. I just want to let you know I'm here right now talking to you. So,
Well, it's not soon enough. No, but
but yeah, I'm kind of curious if he's finally lost it.
well,
Because his like I said, his wife is famous for getting plowed by another dude and making a sex tape,
yeah,
and she's made millions off of it.
yeah.
Her family is famous because of that. And
Well,
then the
no,
whole
her family is famous because their dad was O.J. Simpson's best friend.
right. I was gonna say the Bruce Jenner thing as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and Bruce Jenner and but Kanye fell in love with Kim when he saw her sex tape, and then he would have
It's
sex.
kind of gross.
He would. Oh, it gets worse. He would have sex with his girlfriend Amber Rose, the model, whilst watching the Kim Kardashian sex tape.
I don't I don't know how to feel about that.
Not good.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
So like that is kind of stalkerish. See, if he wasn't a famous rapper, who is actually a pretty decent rapper, but if he wasn't a famous rapper, that kind of behavior would have gotten him arrested.
Yeah,
Because eventually he would have gone to leaving her notes or breaking into her house, or God only knows what would have happened after that.
right.
Which would have been kind of funny had, Kanye West gone that route. Because then we would all been all like, "Oh, that guy's nuts. Let's get him the help he deserves." But no, he actually got a chance to marry the woman that he was obsessed over, which
Mm.
we will only find out that he's crazy when she tries to divorce him and he O.J. Simpsons her.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with that family because honestly, I really don't give a shit. I don't care about them. They're not my family. I don't care about them. I have no other way of putting that.
Yeah. Well,
But it's like watching a train wreck. Like I can't not hear about it, and it makes me laugh.
well, it was funny because I was driving a couple of sorority girls around the other day, and they were drunk and probably high on cocaine because that's usually how the sorority girls are around here.
Yeah,
And they were doing some sort of Valentine's Day date dash where they have 24 hours to find an outfit and a guy to go on a date with. I don't even think it's 24 hours, I think it's like 12. That's the silly little things that sororities and fraternities do, whatever. So the
right.
two girls, they do themes, and the theme was something about animals or zoo or whatever, and they had Lion King hats on. And the two girls are in the back seat, and they're chatting away about how their outfits look so Kardashian, yada yada yada. And then they ask me, they drag me into the conversation. They're like, "Don't you think
Oh God.
our outfits look Kardashian?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" But I placate them because I want a good score and maybe a tip. They never tip.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
So then they're like, oh, but the hat, none of the Kardashians would ever wear the hat. And I kind of look back into the back seat and I'm like, yeah, Chloe would probably wear the hat. And they're like, oh my God, Chloe would wear the hat, yada, yada, yada. I impressed them with my knowledge of the Kardashians by
Fucking kill yourself.
randomly throwing out a name of somebody who would wear a stupid Lion King hat. And I could have actually have named any of them, and they probably would have been all like, "Oh, you're right. That person would have worn this hat." Because I think any of them would actually have worn that stupid hat.
Mm.
But
I don't know if
yes,
we could be friends anymore, Alex.
why? Because I'm good at my job.
No, because you actually know someone. You actually know those names of them.
Well, I actually did watch the show. I like Chloe. Chloe's the cute one as far as I'm concerned. And
Hold on, I'm looking up.
she's the one that everybody considers to be the fat one.
Hold on, let me go into incognito mode real quick. Search this.
I love the fact that you put effort into that.
Not a lot of effort. I mean, I have a shortcut key mapped, so it's not terrible, but
Yeah, but
you
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 had
are
to
making you are making me stretch my hand just a little bit more than usual. So
you had to map key that A, and B, you had to think of using that to look up the Kardashians, and then you actually had to do it.
well, no, it's already it's fucking Chrome. It already has the shortcut for
Oh, does it?
yeah
Well, then you had to learn it because I didn't know it had that.
yeah dude. It's for those out there who want to know how to go incognito is Control Shift N. How the fuck do you spell Kardashian?
I don't know. Are you Googling it? Because it'll correct your spelling eventually.
Yeah, that's what I did. Jesus Christ, I got it right. Fuck me.
See, you know better than me. It seeps into your brain. You can't get away from it.
Kill myself. Yeah, she's alright. Yeah, she's kind of hot.
I mean, they're all
Wait,
cute in their
what's
own way.
what's her sister? The one that's married to Kanye? Kim?
Kim,
Kim.
Kim, yes. She's the one who tried to break the internet, and of course didn't because you can't say I'm going to break the internet and then actually break the internet.
Yeah, I remember when that happened because 4chan had a fucking field day with her.
Them making fun of her probably broke the internet.
No, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up some of the boards. Let's see. Oh, well, those are her tits. It's not what I wanted.
Are they actually hers, or is it just her head superimposed onto
I
another?
don't know if it's actually her or not, but it was definitely tits.
I think that people should just start doing that, but poorly. They should take Kim Kardashian's head and put it on like a really dark-skinned woman,
God.
or vice versa. Just do it so poorly that it's so obvious, but yet spend all that time to blend in the seam or try to hide the seam. I think that would be funny.
I think they should do that. But
I think it would be funny that you give her such a lack of effort and respect. Or
she's not
she's not what?
she's not real human. It's okay.
Or after being famous for doing nothing productive to society, yeah, you kind of deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's on my search engine now. So speaking of things being in your search engine,
Yes.
it's the thing that we watched this week.
The Ex Machina?
Yes. Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Okay.
Unlike some people around here, I actually do the assignments.
Yeah, Jamal, who's not even here to defend himself, so I'm gonna shit on him right now.
Well, I was referring to you, but I think your plan is much better for the time being.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, see, I have every intention of doing it. I just don't, because time slips away from me, or I don't think about it in time.
Hey, I did it, and I inadvertently pissed off Heather because apparently she did not like that film.
Really?
Yeah, and we can get into that later.
Yeah, yeah. I liked it a lot. So I watched it with my girlfriend last night, and she's she's like the everyday average moviegoer. You know,
Okay.
she likes watching um, basically whatever's on TV. She enjoys watching. Um, here and there to hit or miss, because she did work in the industry for so many years, so she has a different eye as well. But
Mhm.
she enjoys watching like um, was it like the True Blood, and there's just so many fucking TV shows that she knows that I have no idea. Res- Resurgence, I think the name of it is.
I've seen that in the list. I haven't ever actually watched that
Okay,
one.
but she basically like primetime TV.
Hmm.
She watches that stuff, and no problem. She can watch that, and I'm just gonna go off and do my own thing
Hmm.
because I don't like those shows. But we watched this film last night, and I was afraid she wasn't gonna like it. Because this is, I'm not too sure if you've ever seen the movie Lucy.
Yeah, I've seen that one
Okay, Lucy. I think it's the name. I think that's the movie I was thinking of. That's
with
the one with.
Scarlett Johansson, and she takes
Yeah, yeah.
a bunch
And
of drugs.
she's like that alien thing.
Well, it's her mind gets opened up through the drugs that enter into
Oh,
her
oh,
system.
I'm thinking of a different movie then. Hold on.
I was gonna say 'cause
uh,
Lucy I didn't like. That was pretty bad.
Hold on. I need to figure out what movie I'm talking about now, because this isn't gonna make sense.
That is usually helpful.
Okay, so it wasn't Lucy. Ghost in the Shell. Oh, cut this part out. Under the Skin. There we go. Under the Skin.
Okay.
If you get a chance, check that movie out, because it had this vibe to it, like this very humanistic, very realistic looking person, but was just devoid of emotion until the very end, when it finally comes out and you're like, holy shit, this thing isn't devoid of emotion. It's chock full of it, more than any of us could ever hope for, and we're the humans, you know. And so I was afraid she wasn't going to like it, because it had a very like
Did she
not like
not like that movie then?
Ex Machina.
Under the Skin.
No, she's actually never seen that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but I showed her Mr. Nobody, and she liked it, with Jared Leto.
Hmm.
And fuck off. I can remember the girl's name in it. I can see her face. But she enjoyed that movie. It took her a minute to finally understand it, but once we talked about it for a while, she's like, "Oh, I get it now." She's like, "It's a little weird um, that they jumped around so much." Fuck me, I can't. I need coffee. Oh God. Um, but yeah, it took her a while to get Mr. Nobody, and altogether, it's not a really difficult film to understand. It's really enjoyable. It's shot fucking beautifully. Um, and Sarah Polley, that's the girl
Okay.
in, uh, Mr. Nobody, does a great job, by the way. And no, but Diane Kruger, that's who it is. Yeah, Diane Kruger.
Okay.
But it has some pretty big names in it, and she did fucking great in it. And my girlfriend, speaking of at this point in time, she did great with that film. She really enjoyed it. And then when we watched Ex Machina last night, um, yeah, she thoroughly enjoyed it as well. And I was afraid she wasn't going to like it. and she got almost every single beat. It was actually really funny because I called the film within 30 minutes. I was like, "This is." She's like, "Oh, I think this is gonna happen. You know, it's this and this." And I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "You're kind of wrong." Like I didn't say that. And then like another 10, 15 minutes later goes by, and I'm like, "Oh, I think this is what's gonna happen." And like 30 minutes, and it was probably like an hour later. No, it was like 30, 40 minutes later. You know, when the second act was just in its peak,
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh shit, you're right." She's like, "That's exactly what's happening." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "The movie's not like the story is really good, but it's you could see where it's going
Oh yeah.
within 20 minutes, and I don't fault it for that. I mean, it was a great film anyway." But she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I like the way it was. I like what it was. I mean, it was this really simplistic movie shot in what, two locations
Kind of,
for the
yeah.
most part. Yeah, I mean, I say two locations roughly because it was the exterior, or the building that uh, he wins in, which was his office building,
Yeah.
and then the boss's actual like fortress of solitaire, and that was it. I mean, there are rooms inside of it as well, but I mean, it was really simplistic movie. It was shot beautifully,
Yeah. Only
and
had like 4 actual actors in it at any
yeah,
time.
and the I mean, the amount of glass they had in those rooms too. Like, I couldn't imagine that being fun for the cinematographer.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, Ex Machina. Who was the DP in that? I saw his name last night. I just can't think of his name right now. But it's so funny because this movie did shit all when it opened up. Like it made $200,000.
Well, it's a little indie movie, isn't it?
Yeah, technically, because it was only about like 10 to 15 million. I think they spent on this thing.
Yeah.
But for what it is, I mean, it's really fucking good. God damn, I cannot figure. So IMDb updated on my phone, and I can't figure out. Buttons move. There we go. Okay, okay. Rob Hardy. I know the name.
A lot of noise coming from your end.
Yeah, it's the fucking Mexicans outside. The cleaning crew.
Oh.
I really wish I could get like a dedicated mic, but I only have a little left.
Well, you can get a headset. You need a sugar mama.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I both.
Well, if your girlfriend goes that way, that's fine.
Yeah, no, no. So why didn't Heather like it? I'm curious.
I think she thought it was a little tripe. That she thought it was pseudo intellectual.
That's it.
Basically.
Um, I mean, the film never claims it's. There we go. Jamal's online. I mean, the film never claims that it was gonna be anything like that.
You might have to call him in. I can't.
God damn it, Jamal.
Did he go away again?
Get the dick out of your mouth and pick up your phone. There we go. Add. Skype. There we go. Wait. No. God damn. Hold on. You're gonna go on hold.
You got that taken care of now?
There we go. Yeah, I got that thing taken care of.
All right.
Did you get that thing I sent you?
All right, Peter Potamus.
Sorry I'm late, but I ran behind on my job, and so I got home late, and I just finished the movie now because I wanted to take like thorough notes and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, saw X-Men, ready to go.
Cool.
Okay, Mario.
Fucking kill yourself. I only did it once.
What?
Yeah, but once was enough.
Shut up. Hey, it was a shitty movie. I can't even lie. I regret watching that movie.
What, the Deadpool with Jet Li?
Oh, it's terrible.
Well,
Oh, speaking of, I saw Deadpool this week.
oh, I did as well.
Yeah.
Did you, Jamal?
Say that again.
Did you see Deadpool this week?
Not yet. No.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna hang up on you right now so Alex and I can talk about that.
I'm going to see it with friends on Wednesday.
The fuck is that sound?
are you? Do you have a crinkly wrapper there, Jamal?
No.
Are you eating a Snickers, Jamal?
No. I'll have it's a Kit Kat.
Because that's so much better.
Yeah, clearly. You're like that guy in the movie theater that just can't open his candy bar fast enough. And so he makes it, so it just accidentally gets louder because he's getting frustrated and he's freaking out that other people are judging him. That's what that sounded like right there.
At least you can't hear the crunching.
I'm talking their mouth full. I told you he had a dick in his mouth, Alex.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, just to touch on Deadpool, did you like it? Because I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Okay.
I loved the way that this was. I love the way that they were going with this one.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely different from every other Marvel movie, and I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant, and it was basically the part that Ryan Reynolds was born to play. He can now retire from movies, knowing full well that he's reached the pinnacle of his career.
It feels like he's making a comeback, honestly.
Well, I like it when he does serious stuff because he was good in Amityville Horror, and I can't think of anything else that he did that was serious because he doesn't do a lot of serious stuff.
There's that one where a Golden Boy or something like that, where he plays a serial killer who goes on a date or something.
I haven't seen that.
And Buried, I think it was.
Buried. I don't think I've
That
seen
one
that
was
one either.
no, I know which one you're talking. Was it Buried Alive or something weird like that?
Yes, it was, or something like that.
Yeah, that was actually not bad. I was surprised. Like it wasn't like an over the top great film, but I mean it was decent for what it was. I enjoyed it.
But he was even good in like The Proposal, where he wasn't that typical Ryan Reynolds kind of character.
Yeah.
You saw The Proposal?
Yeah.
You haven't?
Gay.
No, I saw it with a woman.
You like Gravity while eating a Kit Kat. Just shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna fucking forgive you for that. I really want you to know that.
Mm-hmm. Guess what my next movie pick is?
I told Alex I'll quit right now. I don't give a shit.
Hey, we've already seen it, so you don't have to watch it again, and we can just tell him how bad it was. So.
It's true.
And I can bring Heather in on this. So if he really wants to do that,
oh, that's right. She wasn't a fan of it either, was she?
No, but the thing is that if anybody's going to quit, it'll probably be Jamal after that episode.
No. Why? Because I have the power of the people behind me.
Yeah, but Jamal, you also have to realize that I'm just putting this in context right now that the power of the people in South Carolina voted Trump in. So
that is a very specific segment of people.
Just putting that out there.
Popularity isn't always right, I think is what he's trying to say.
Just putting that out there.
Does that apply to like professional film critics?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Because the film critic... No. Shut your brown mouth.
Let's just get
Because the
get
film
this out
critic
there.
in Tucson,
You
Arizona,
guys,
was probably the worst film critic I've ever heard in my life, and he made me laugh every fucking time I heard him. Because no matter what he said, he was like, this film coming out this week is gonna. Oh, hold on, you guys are there?
Yeah.
Oh, that was weird. Like all of a sudden, I just, you can hear a little static on Skype. All of a sudden, it just stopped, and then the Skype program itself just started to flicker. So I wasn't too sure if my computer was about to die.
Weird.
That's weird. Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna get cut off soon or not.
Okay.
But just because they're a critic doesn't mean they're good.
It's opinion. That's all that it is. So
opinion. And a lot of people are very, very opinionated in the film industry, and they think that film is good. It's not. There was nothing to that film itself. But we're not going to get into that right now and how much I fucking hate that movie because we're talking about something else.
Here, let me just get this out there, though. You guys realize that you're just the two of you just happen to have a certain sense of like a certain taste in movies that's just contrary to what a lot of other people would have.
Jamal?
No, but we can recognize a good movie.
Jamal?
Yes?
Deadpool dies at the end.
I really don't care.
There, I
Really,
spoiled that
all you
movie
had
for you.
You could have told me. You could have told me Han Solo would have died at the end. I would not care. I mean, you must realize that you guys just happen to have a very specific taste in movies.
No, but here's the thing. I recognize that, and I enjoy a certain genre of film. However, I can recognize a good film. I can recognize a good storyline. I can recognize a good plot.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Yes. Can you?
Yeah, I seem to be able to, because when I see one and I see something like, and I'm not even like a huge Gravity nut. I just recognize it as a good film. Apparently, so do other people. When you're kind of reaching when you say,
but see, here's the thing. You're reaching out to everybody else to verify what you think is correct.
I'm not reaching that out at all. When I saw that movie, I thought it was a good movie. That's it.
Why?
Because it looked amazing. I found the story compelling, and I thought.
Here, how about this? Do me a favor. This upcoming week, I don't care what movie we choose to watch this week, but watch. Fuck. I'm gonna have to figure out the name of the movie again. Alex, help me out on this one. What's won best cinematography? Life of Pi. Watch Life of Pi. Okay. Tell me if that deserves to win for best cinematography for that year. Then we will talk about Gravity.
Sure.
Okay.
Wait, were they both nominated in the same year?
No, they were years apart.
Okay.
But it's in the same genre of itself.
Okay, so have you guys seen the movie Unfriended?
No.
I have no interest in seeing that at all.
I've never heard of that one.
Really? Well, why, Jamal? Why would you not want to see Unfriended?
Because it seems like a stupid, the natural evolution of Blair Witch Project type thing.
It's very popular with the people. It made 31 times its budget back, which is
great.
Pretty
great.
successful.
It's great. It's probably a really good movie. I'm not interested in seeing it.
But everybody likes it. Why would you want to see it?
I probably if I saw it, I'd probably think it was a really good movie. I just don't want to see it.
Well, what about it makes you not want to see it?
Well, for one thing, I'm not a fan of the genre.
The horror genre?
Yeah, I just never really got into it. I mean, there's some amazing films done in that genre, but I've never really got into it.
Name two.
Okay. First Amityville, I thought was a good movie. And was it The Omen, the one with the Antichrist child?
Yes.
Okay, not the remake, the original.
Well, the remake was pretty good too.
Yeah, the remake was pretty good.
Remake was okay as well, but the original I thought really stood out for me.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a very, I don't know, it's a serious take on a very out there concept. I mean, it didn't pull punches either.
All right. Well, Unfriended is actually kind of interesting and the fact that the entire film is basically a screen capture of someone's desktop, and
Mm.
it's done real time. It's acted real time, and it's about five friends who are being basically killed off. And it's interesting in the way they filmed it. It's interesting in the acting. It's interesting in all the choices that it made. The film itself is a little boring. There's about 30 seconds of real tension and drama as far as I'm concerned, but too much build up and too much going on and too much reading for a film for my. I mean, if you watch it on your computer, it actually works a lot better than when you're trying to watch it on the TV. But it's for everything else, for all its technical aspects, it's a wonderful film, and I think everybody should watch it just for that. Not to mention the fact that, like I said, it cost $1 million to produce, and the guy made $31 million off of it, which is an amazing return on the box office.
That's Clerks money right there.
Kind of, yeah. Good job there, Mario. Way to throw in your 2 cents.
Yeah, that's what happens when I don't have coffee in my belly.
Yeah, and it's really more like you said Blair Witch. I think it's more like the Paranormal Activity movies
I
that
haven't seen those ones either.
uh, don't you don't waste your time with those.
Actually, the first one's really fucking good. I really enjoyed the first one. It was simplistic. It was so goddamn easy, and the story, not together all too great, was, again, it was so simplistic that it worked.
You know what? I'll give you that, and for that, and for the same reason why Unfriended was cool to watch. You should watch, the first Paranormal Activity. But the thing that really bothers me about these mockumentary found footage things is that they're trying to pass themselves off as documentaries, a lot of them, not Paranormal Activities, but a lot of them. And the thing that bothers me is the camera crew is always in the documentary. And if you ever actually watch a documentary, you'll notice that there's never a camera crew. There's barely an announcer or any kind of on-screen personality. Most of the time, it's just interviews with people, and it's just them talking to the camera. Sometimes you have an announcer or somebody who's trying to tell you what's going on, and sometimes like not Roger Moore, Michael Moore, you have a guy who's in front of the camera, kind of leading you around, showing you what he wants to show you. Okay, you never see camera crew, you never see those guys, the producers, the sound guy having their 2 cents in, and that's what really bothers me about these mockumentary kind of things is that they film everything. One of the ones I've seen, they actually put cameras up in the film crew's hotel room, which nobody does. I don't understand why they would have done that, and it irritated me to no end. So like for that reason, I really hate those mockumentary ones. But like the Paranormal Activities are a little different because they're amateur guys and they're just putting cameras all over their houses. Which had they, actually put those onto the internet and had this done as watch this unfold on the internet kind of thing, that might be interesting. At least it would make more sense to why somebody would put cameras all over their house. But a lot of times too, those films, they're so boring because they're showing, everyday activity at the beginning, and it's only like the last half of the movie, the last third of the movie that's really interesting and has anything to do with the plot and with the ghosts and everything. The end.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more. That's why.
No.
Oh, since you're talking about things that are done non-traditional filming, have you guys seen Hardcore Henry, or at least the trailer to it?
Yes.
No,
Nice.
I haven't. Hardcore
Yes, I
Henry.
have seen. Yeah.
Hardcore Henry.
Let's wait until old guy finds the trailer.
Whatever. Fuck off.
It's actually a really fun movie. It's like a
first-person shooter.
Yeah, it's like a shooter. It's like a shoot 'em up.
Oh, is that what
Yeah.
that's about? I saw
Yeah.
the posters in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to be the action hero.
Yeah,
Well,
I've been meaning to actually watch this trailer.
You want to do that now, or
I am doing that now, actually.
Uh-huh.
He's the Bionic Man.
What?
Or
Is that
RoboCop.
movie? Is that movie actually out or?
I don't know.
No, it says April 8th, 2016 in the United States.
This is literally a video game without the game part.
Yes.
Mm.
Guys.
Oh, you know what this is? This is that music video. Did you guys ever see that one music video?
Yes.
I'm
I
gonna say
believe
yes, but I don't think I have.
it was a Russian music video. I forget what the music actually was, but it was all done first person. One guy foot chase down another guy, and it was a big YouTube thing for a while, and it was.
God, yeah, I want to say yes, but it's not.
It's not ringing any bells.
I have to look again for it.
Yeah, but that's basically what this is, and it looks like it might. I don't know if it's done by the same guys or what, but it has that really same feel to it. And I'm going to say that it's either inspired by those guys or done by those guys. Biting elbows, bad motherfucker. Yeah, I think it's done by those guys. So basically, they took this idea for a music video and created a movie about it. Oops. I'm so used to using a Mac that I keep hitting Alt.
Smooth. You know, there's nothing better than just hearing the little dog clacking in your background.
I know, right?
I think that's my favorite thing to listen to whenever I hear our podcast.
That and you struggling to teach each other how to use Skype.
Well, that was like 4 weeks ago.
Something like that.
God, that was funny.
Okay.
You see?
So, speaking of cyborgs and whatnot, let's go ahead and go on to our main topic, Ex Machina. So, Mario, you picked this movie. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit why you picked it?
Again?
Was it because you said that you thought the special effects looked good? Was that the only reason, really, why you picked it?
Actually, no. God, what movie did we? I think I just finished watching Martian.
Okay, that's a good movie.
And I told my friend about that, and she's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "If you liked Martian, she's like, you need to see Ex Machina." I was like, "Okay." So, you know, this was right after Martian had come out, so it's been a while since Ex Machina had come out. So I didn't think anything of it. And finally, it just caught my eye. I was like, okay, I really need to see this film. I really need to see it. Saw the trailer for it again. I saw the trailer for it again. Looked who was in it. You know, did a little bit of research on it, and thought this would be a great film for us to watch. That's what, you know, it was more along the lines of it's not a big budget film. It's a couple of actors. It's really simplistic. The story's not over the top. It's solid. You know, it's a solid. From what I was reading about it, it seemed like a solid script.
Right.
I thought it was. That's why I chose this film. And there we go. And So the film itself, if anybody hasn't seen it, is set in the future. Push the goddamn dog.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and continue.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you spraying it?
No.
Oh. So anybody who hasn't seen the film, it came out last year. Basically, it's about one scientist. Essentially, Google is what they're trying to say. But it's a creator of a web search engine referred to as Blue Book. And he has created AI. And he's trying to test whether or not the AI is humanistic enough to be able to fool a human into thinking that it's real, to think that it's a real person. You know, it's smart enough and it has enough vindication to do what it's doing for a purpose.
Mm-hmm. So the person that they got was a computer programmer.
Yeah.
Which was the first problem I had with this movie. If you're going to test how human someone is, why would you bring in a computer programmer? Why wouldn't you bring in like that?
But it wasn't more along the line. It wasn't because of that he had, or that he wasn't a computer, or he was a computer programmer. It was because of who he was. He had, I mean, they said it in the film itself. You know, he had no one. You know, his parents are dead. He has no siblings. You know, he's a single guy who lives by himself in Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's a harsh environment in itself, right there. So he chose him because he's a nobody, and he's the most average nobody at that company. He even told himself, he's like, you know, you're a decent programmer. He's like, you're nothing special though. Is essentially what he told him. He said, you're a decent programmer. He's like, he essentially said he's not a great programmer, but he's good.
Yeah.
Like, he can get the job done, is what it is. And I mean, they did great on their casting too, because he was just this fucking run-of-the-mill looking guy. Ow. And yeah, I thought they did a great choice on their casting right there with the Caleb character.
Well, you see, if you were going to test the intelligence, that you would come in with with like a psychiatrist or an anthropologist, somebody who would be more adept at.
No. But see, here's the thing though, because if you were to do that, that person would be specified in that area.
Yeah.
Whereas because what Nathan, the boss, I guess you could say, of the Blue Book company, what he was trying to test was if it could fool the average human being, which in that company of Blue Book would be someone like Caleb.
In the company of Blue Book, but I don't think a computer programmer could be really considered an average person.
And that's not what it is. It was in the company, because this person is someone who understands computers, who understands, you know, they understand their job. They understand it they understand it well. I don't want to say very well, but they understand it well.
Yeah.
And so if the AI is smart enough to confuse or to be able to trick, you know, even the most basic peon in the company, then, you know, it was ready to go into another trial of tests.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that was. I mean, Nathan said it himself, you know, he's fucking Ava is the name of the AI character.
Mm-hmm.
He said that she was just another test. You know, he explained how he was going to extract her memories, how he was going to extract all of her data and upload a new one. He was going to do that. And then, you know, shit fell through and all that happened.
Yeah.
But she wasn't completed yet. She was good enough to fool one test subject. And, you know, human emotions are things that was a thing that, honestly, I don't think that the Nathan character really anticipated to go that far. And obviously that's why shit hit the fan.
Well, again, you know, had you had a psychiatrist, you would have eliminated two things would have been eliminated from the movie. One of which would have been anybody tampering with the security systems, and the second one would have been that a psychiatrist or anthropologist would have seen the evolution in the robot that programmers couldn't see.
So then let me ask you this: if he brought in a psychologist,
mm-hmm.
and the psychologist said it wasn't a human being, would they have then tried to Nathan character? Would he have tried to create his AI, another form of AI, to fool a psychologist? Specifically, would he have created AI in order to fool a psychologist then? Or would he have created it to be a basic human being? Because that's all this Ava character is. Her basic function at that point in time was survival. In the simplest forms.
Right, and
she wanted out of that place.
Yeah.
And it was dark and dreary. But I mean, she wanted basic survival.
Right.
Which is every human being wants.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, is that each of the previous models wanted out of that place too. And he says, oh, I take the brain, I download the memories, I do a format, and then I add new stuff to it. And
right.
He's like, and that pretty much eliminates the memories. But he doesn't really know what's happening. And it seems like memories are staying with each new version of the software.
Well, sure.
Yeah, which is why she was able to realize that she had to manipulate Caleb to be able to get out of the whole thing.
Right.
And she knew exactly how to do that. Which, again, you know, fooling the average person is fine. I mean, it's actually not that difficult to fool the average person. This is why we have con men. This is, you know, what's his face? P.T. Barnum said that, you know, there's a sucker born every minute. You know, we have
the circus guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. This is why, you know, you can do stuff like that, because the average human is actually pretty easy to fool. And if you have something that, you know, walks like a person and talks like a person, you're just going to assume that it's a person, no matter how weird they are. And if you throw an attractive face on that, whether it be male or female, people are going to ignore more of the faults of that person because of the attractiveness. Now, had he made his Ava character not attractive, then that might have been a better test, or a completely different test, to see if personality alone could have carried the robot to make it seem more like it was human.
Well, I'm kind of curious, because all of the test subjects that he had, or Caleb was the first test subject. So he created Ava to tailor Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb, just in general, you know, the looks,
mm-hmm.
His Google searches, or his Blue Book searches.
Yeah.
Everything he did was tailored to Caleb. So he was always the intended test subject.
Right, but doesn't that make the test then rigged? I mean,
yes.
Of course.
No, it is. Yes.
But
here's the thing. It was tailored specifically to him, because he, Nathan, felt he was the most general person at that company.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If I tailor a test to, like, you, who you know, let's say you're Caleb. If I tailor a test to Caleb, does that mean that, you know, Jamal is going to also, you know, fall for her shenanigans?
But wouldn't you want to tailor it to somebody?
You think you'd want to make it a little bit more generic? Because
to answer your question, boobs, yes.
No, but how about this, Alex? Do you get along with everybody?
No.
Right. So
Well, I take that back.
Think of it as the same way with think of it as the same way with the AI. Then with the Ava character or the Ava AI.
Mhm.
If she was a general human being, like I can't even think of a general human being, like fucking
Let's just be.
Paul Newman. But if she was so general, it would be very off-putting because there's nothing you can connect on. There's no feeling behind that person because they're so rounded. Whereas if you have someone who's tailored to you, and I hate to say it like that because nobody's precisely tailored to everybody, and I don't think she was either. She did have the memories of her previous iterations, and yes, maybe she was crafted to look more toward what his porn searches were.
Right.
But to say she was specifically a one-on-one match for Caleb, I don't think so. I think there were certain things that he did in order to sway his influence on her. But if Caleb was, the person he was supposed to be or who he thought he was going to be for the test subject,
Mm-hmm.
then that wouldn't have mattered.
Well, you would think if you would have made the character less tailored to Caleb, that there would be a risk of Caleb hating that person, and wouldn't that also be a valid outcome to the situation? That him falling in love with her obviously makes it seem like you know the AI is working and that it simulates human interaction. But hating somebody is akin to loving somebody. It's pretty much the same emotion. So wouldn't them not getting along and him being all like that fucking bitch, I hate her, wouldn't that be also considered a success of the test, her passing the test?
I don't think that's what he was going for. He was
It,
going for more. No. And I get what you're getting at, but
yeah,
I think it was more along the lines of if he can make a computer sway a human being to hit to the computer's emotions, and it did, or
yeah,
he did. He succeeded at that. He made a human being want a computer,
right.
like, and to the point that Japanese businessmen only know.
Which was funny that the non-speaking robot was Asian Orient.
Yeah.
Is there not like another room you could put the dog or?
No, there is not.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Do you do this in your living room or?
I'm actually in the kitchen right now.
Oh, okay.
I moved it to the kitchen so I didn't disturb Heather sleeping.
Gotcha. Because I always hear the click clacking, and I'm like, dude, do they have tile like hardwood floor?
But in the kitchen, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Jamal, what was your impression of the whole movie?
Well, here to go back to the subject you were talking about earlier about why Caleb was picked to go there. I don't believe that that she was tailored to him. I don't believe that it was so specific to that personality matching. I boil it down to two things that occurred in the movie. One, Caleb is a coder. Why would you bring him in to psychologically evaluate a machine? Well, he knows what a machine should or shouldn't be able to do. He knows where the computer stops and where something else begins. Like he understands what a computer or an AI or an AI should in theory be like. And so he's sort of the an expert in because he's an expert in that field. He's sort of the perfect guy to do it. The second reason, I don't remember if you guys remember the conversation, but he tells her about the class that he took in college, where he was introduced to the black and white experiment or black and gray experiment. Do you guys remember that conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you that for what you can split that into two things. One, he's taking a class that doesn't have anything that is fairly advanced, doesn't have anything to do with so much computers so much as it is intelligence and AIs. So he's thinking he at least he's been trained somewhat in that sort of psychological aspect to an AI. The second thing is he's asking that question. He's thinking deeper, and every conversation that Caleb has with Nathan, what is it if not existential? The actual conversation they have about why he gave Ava sexuality. That was an existential conversation. They engage in that throughout the entire film. Nathan or Caleb is the perfect guy to do this because he qualifies for two reasons. One, he understands psychology, and the other, he just understands what a computer is and what it is not.
I'll
The end.
Okay, I'll give you that he understands computers and probably does know what AI is supposed to do, but we're talking about what is essentially the next level of AI, which is imitating the human consciousness.
That
And
is AI.
No,
and
no, no. No, I mean he understands what a device that computes should be able to do. Very early in the movie they talked about the chess playing machine.
yeah,
He knows where that line is drawn between a computer, what it is capable of at its peak, and what that second tier is, that actual intelligence, that self realization is.
yeah, but don't you think a psychiatrist or a psychologist would also know that?
No, what does a psychiatrist know about computers? Like a psychiatrist could sit down and there's a program on I don't know what it is, but or you guys have ever heard of Alexa, the
The
little device?
camera.
No, the Alexa is a little device provided by Amazon where it's basically like you talk to it, it talks back, and you can hook up your phone to it or the utilities in your house and tell Alexa, turn this off, and it'll do that, and it'll actually talk back to you.
Oh, that's the black tube shape
Yeah,
Oh,
product,
that
right?
thing, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's basically the Siri from iPhone, just not on a phone.
A psychiatrist could sit down and talk to Siri all day, and Siri would, throw out random questions or predetermined answers to all questions or things that it's just downloaded.
Yeah.
What Caleb is specifically able to do is anticipate those predetermined questions or
So
those predetermined answers.
so are you
Because
saying that a psychiatrist would know the difference between Ava and Siri?
no, I'm saying that a psychiatrist would not know the difference between an AI from a computer.
Well,
Or
that's the whole point. I mean, the AIs that we have now are either something like Siri or something like in video games that are
No, no,
only
no.
supposed.
So what Jamal is saying is that a psychiatrist doesn't have
The computing program language to be able to diagnose.
no, not that.
nuance.
It's little things that like when she was reading the micro facial structures of a human being.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Any good psychiatrist can do that. Any machine can do that because they can recognize more.
Yeah.
However, something like that, there were a couple times where she actually had those micro reactions. A psychiatrist is still a human being and therefore is flawed because all human beings are. So
Right.
she would have her own emotional reactions to whatever it is. Whereas Ava could use that to her advantage and do those little things. And that's where someone like a computer programmer would come in handy, is to be able to say, this computer. I mean, he even said it himself when he's like, oh, Ava made a joke because she was able to recognize what it was and to throw it back into his face in the most perfect burn at the same time. And so a psychiatrist wouldn't do that. A psychiatrist would analyze something like that. And I'm just saying psychiatrist because that's what we're talking about. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But, a psychiatrist would see something like that and analyze it and say, it is a human being because it is this. Whereas a computer programmer would say, look, it's doing this in my reaction because this machine is recognizing all of this stuff. And it's recognizing the fact that I said this to it, and it's the perfect comeback that it can learn about me, and it can do everything in the simplest form as well. So it's a machine learning to think like a human.
Right.
And again, the thing that makes Caleb uniquely qualified to do this is because he understands to some degree both sides, the computer and the self-aware being.
Well, see, other than the conversation about the black and white room, we don't really get much in his background of anything other than his computer skills, and his computer skills are pretty average.
Well, hang on. Who sent me what? Anyway, his computer skills should be. Well, for one thing, the guy looked through his entire company, the Blue Book, thousands and thousands of employees, and chose that guy in particular. And throughout the course of the entire film, you're given instances of just how smart the guy is, knowing what the Turing test was. Uh, uh, just in general, the conversations he was having. This poll has been claimed. Just in general, just the conversations he's having with Nathan throughout the whole thing, you have an idea of just how smart it is. And I have very little doubt that somebody who was able to create an AI and is so rich that he owns half of Scandinavia, apparently, is able to monitor his employees the way that the government monitors us. He knows that Nathan or that Caleb is smart enough to do that, and that he has sort of that ability to maybe that is unique to Caleb himself to draw the line between computer and intelligence. The end. Hello.
Oh, there we go.
Are you there?
For some reason you're cutting out.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But if you're in the industry like Caleb is, who is, dealing and programming AI, wouldn't it make sense that he would know the test to test AI? I mean, it's not that far stretch of a thing. That's like,
He's not in the business for the AI. The AI and actual coding are two different things.
well, you still have to code the program to make it an artificial intelligence.
Yeah, you
And
write the codes that
you're
tell
saying
it to
that
do.
this is why he's being brought in, because of his coding and his expertise, quote unquote, in the company and in artificial intelligence.
Well, no, he understands what a code is and understands something that is not. So when he's talking to her and he gets an answer back, like a random answer back, he can tell that that's not something that was programmed into her. She came up with that on the spot.
But then isn't all of our responses, even in humans, something that's pre-programmed?
No,
Isn't it?
just as that response right now wasn't. I've never thought of this subject before, but when you gave that to me, I answered like right off the top of my head.
Yes, but if you think about how you learn things, you go to school, people tell you, 1 + 1 = 2, that's a way of programming you.
That's a way of programming you with information for basic day-to-day things. When you stop and you have these existential conversations, ones that are out of the norm, ones that don't normally happen, you come up with answers right on the spot.
Okay. As part of this, I will share this little story with you. I was driving with Uber and was shortly after the Super Bowl, shortly after we did our show where we talked about the Super Bowl. Somebody asked me if I watched the game, and I said yes, because I don't really care. And the guy asked me what I thought about the game, and I just parroted back everything that Jamal said on the show to us. And the guy thought I knew what the hell I was talking about.
Because one of us actually watches sports.
Well, I mean, if you want to waste your time like that, that's fine.
See, there it is again. You're the same way with the movies that are popular with other people, not with you. It's never I just don't like that movie. It's other movies suck.
Oh, I don't say that other movies suck. I give explanation as to why the movie doesn't work.
It doesn't. Okay, it doesn't work for you, basically. But thank you for quoting me. That you're thinking of me when I'm your sports guy, by the way.
Well, I mean, I do this usually. I will have a conversation with somebody about sports, hear what they have to say about it, and I've done this at parties, and I move to the next person and have a discussion with them about sports, just parroting back what I heard 5 seconds ago. Yes.
Okay.
And then what I have done is I will have a conversation with person A. It'll leave kind of awkward. I'll go to person B, have a conversation, get a little more information, and then go back to person A and be all like, "Hey, did you think of this?"
So you progressively get better with each conversation.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the AT crowd where they learned how to talk sports at one point,
Okay. All
which
right. Fine.
which is an example of computer guys and their kind of inability to relate to average people, which is again why I think a computer guy might have not been the right person to determine whether a computer or a uh, a, a, a robot in this case uh, would be a would have artificial intelligence to the point of whether they're programmed or whether they're learning.
See, and I disagree. I think a computer guy is the perfect guy to do it because, again, he knows a genuine answer when he hears it. Well, he knows something that isn't programmed, a response that is not programmed. Anyway, so what did you guys think of the director?
Uh, Give me a second. Let me go back to that. Mario, are you still there?
What?
What?
Mario, wake up. It's time to go to school.
Fuck off. My brain's still working at half function right now, right? To the point that I forgot to plug in my computer again. God damn it.
Well,
It's like
plug it
a
in now.
normal person.
Okay, so the guy who directed this actually only directed one other thing. He's a big writer. He wrote 28 Days Later. He wrote Sunshine. He wrote Dread. So, he's a good writer. I think he might have overextended himself a little bit with this one, but for the most part, he's a really good writer. But I think he's only directed one other film besides this one. Yeah. Oh, this was his this was his directorial debut, Ex Machina. He's doing another movie called Annihilation, which is in pre-production right now. Did he?
So, all right, I'll start off. I feel like this director is destined for big budget films like Marvel or DC or Legendary or Disney is going to come knocking on his door. I say that because at the very beginning of this movie, you see that he has sort of this ability to do the wide he uses wide angle effectively. Like he understands expanse and like large shots like that, and you couple that with his ability to use CGI. I think you have a guy who's yeah. I'll just put it to whatever that noise is stops.
It's Mario plugging in his computer.
Okay.
And as far as his beginning scene, it really mirrored Jurassic Park when they were coming in.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it really did.
it's almost shot for shot. And the opening dialogue where he's like, when do we reach dude's
Property or whatever.
property, and the guy's like, we've been on the property for 2 hours. That's actually lifted from a movie called Quigley Down Under, starring Tom Selleck.
Well, when I saw that opening shot of the chopper in that particular area, the first thing I thought was that looks like a shot from a Roland Emmerich film.
So
I
can see him doing something Roland Emmerich like, but I don't know if he could actually do something Marvel like. Marvel's pretty ambitious.
Well, I feel like Marvel is the opposite of Roland Emmerich. I think because they're notoriously chintzy when it comes to their budgets. If you'll notice, some of their movies don't really. There's not a lot of difference between the budget of the first and the third, but I feel like he would do well in those films only because he understands character study, and that's what ultimately this entire film is about. It is existentialism done on a sci-fi canvas.
Well, this is not his first outing with that, as far as like writing goes. Because, like I said, he did 28 Days Later. He did Sunshine. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but that's an amazing film. All of these films are not they're sci-fi laden, but they're more about the human condition than they are about even Dread. So much is about the human condition and not so much about running or jumping or shooting or anything like that. Dread is basically his biggest action piece so far.
I didn't get some of the character study out of Dread, but as far this movie, I can understand that, and a little bit about 28 Days Later because it's about subconscious violence and things like that. What stuck out to this movie for me me, and this is to move away from the director for a little bit. I thought, it's a great time to be a sci-fi fan now because B movies have evolved. If I had pitched this movie to you in the '80s, where a guy went to a remote locale and had a series of conversations with a robot or whatever, and there was like sex slaves and whatever undertones to those robots, you you would make a B movie out of that. Now you've actually gone and done a serious, I- introverted film about it. Something that's kind of a serious take on an outlandish idea. And it's not the only sci-fi film that's really gone that serious route. Lately, we've had things like Monsters, we've had things like Moon, uh, and now this movie and Her, which by the way, this movie reminds me a lot about Her. You guys seen that movie?
I haven't
No.
seen that yet, but I know about it, and that leads to, it could have been just a gray box, because that's exactly what Her was. He fell in love with a gray box.
Yeah, but I can see the argument that Nathan makes. What impetus does a gray box have to speak to another gray box? You have to program certain things in there to kind of make them want to well, program would probably be the wrong word because if you're trying to make AI, you're trying to make it spontaneous, and there should still be some engineering in there, but not to the point where you're there. You programmed into them. Hey, every time you see another, thing making a sound or making movement or whatever, go towards it and then engage, that sort of thing.
Right?
I mean, uh, anyway, I felt like there was, and my note about her was, hang on. Yeah, Nathan has this sort of like a sick, you know, perversion or fetishism between that he imposes upon Caleb and Ava. Like he's actively trying to get the two of them together. Like the scene where he actually tells him, "Yeah, you can fuck the robot." I programmed that thing in there. It
Yeah.
got a little strange. It was a little weird, but I guess it added to Nathan's character. By the way, Oscar Isaac, really good actor.
I think that was more of how he was going to market the thing, because it seemed like every robot he made was a different ethnic group or nationality, and the one that he kept around was the silent one that he would just have sex with or dance with. So it seems like he was already thinking of marketing and how he's going to market that.
Well, yeah, it could be the way he was going to market them, but in the context of that scene, he very much tells Caleb, and it's very heavily implying, you can fuck it.
Oh, it's not heavily
I
implied.
built,
He said it.
yeah. I mean, he tells him, yeah, I went through the trouble of building that part, so yeah, you can fuck it. That was your under. Here, the heavy-handed implication there is Caleb didn't ask that. Nathan just said the question you really want to ask, and Caleb said, no, that's not what I was asking. But Nathan kept pressing the matter. And again, it feeds into this sort of weird fetish he has with seeing the two of them together. Because
Well,
at the end of the day, there's a very voyeur-like quality to this film. Because Nathan is, constantly in that room watching the two of them
yeah.
talking, and there's a series of cameras throughout the whole place. The whole place is wired. It's the set, by the way, which is an extensive set. I really appreciated the fact that they built the whole thing, and that's probably a real house somewhere. Aside from giving it that sort of claustrophobic feel that really I thought added to the film, it narrows your view down to that, and there's no windows, no distractions outside, no lights or colors coming from this direction or that direction. You're staring at this one box per scene, and again, it gives it this voyeuristic quality to it.
That's very interesting, because you say no distraction, and I know you mean for the audience that there's nothing going on outside or nothing going on around you to distract you from the two people who are talking in their conversation. However, in the realm of the story itself, where Caleb goes in to test to see if this computer, this robot has personality or not, there is a huge distraction to him, and that's Nathan. Nathan keeps putting these ideas in his head. You can fuck the machine. If you want to dance with it, go ahead. It's just a robot. He does all these things, and he gets the guy drunk, or tries to get the guy drunk. He does all these things to kind of push Caleb into certain directions. It's
Well,
like,
that's That's the fetishism again. He's
Yeah, but
actively inserting these ideas into Caleb's head so he can go into that room, do whatever happens in that room, while he, as the voyeur, is sitting in another room watching the whole thing.
yeah, but if this is truly a scientific test, then he's skewing the results by being there and implanting these ideas in Caleb's head.
That's the thing. I don't think this is purely a scientific test. I think at some level, Nathan receives some sort of I don't know, emotional or psychological, gratification from this entire experience. I don't. From the moment it happened, I didn't think this was completely about that test. I thought there was something else underlying. I I may not be able to quite put my finger on it at the end, but largely, I think it was, you know, Nathan's obsession with these, with seeing this interaction and this, sort of exchange play out.
Well, there is it is made to make you feel like there's something else going on throughout the whole thing. And at the beginning, I kind of figured everybody was a robot except for Caleb.
Yeah,
Or
I wrote that down too. In fact, halfway through the movie, I started thinking Caleb was the robot too.
yeah, and I totally get the most genuine thing in the whole movie was him slicing himself open to make sure he wasn't a robot. And then at some point, I thought maybe, Nathan is a robot and the Asian girl was the actual, developer or scientist, that she was not talking because she didn't really want to skew the whole thing. Which,
I thought she was a spy for a little bit.
yeah, or that too, yeah. Um, it makes sense that she's a robot since he's all like, oh, security and all that. But it's like the whole thing was made to have a weird sort of tension about it to make you think something else was going on. And in reality, something else was, because it was Ava who was, trying to escape the whole place. But the, the thing that I was thinking when I was watching this is that Star Trek: The Next Generation did this and did it better. And I don't know if you remember, I can't remember if it was season 1 or 2, but they put Data on trial uh, because somebody wanted to take him apart and experiment on him and try to replicate Dr. Soon's um, Dr. Soon's robotics and intelligence. So they wanted to take Data apart, but Data was like, "No, I'm a member of the crew. You can't do that. I'm a person." Because Data has this whole Pinocchio thing going on. So they had this trial, and I don't know if you guys ever saw that episode or remember that.
Do you mean Dr. Singh?
Well, it's Data's creator, which is Dr. Soon, I believe.
Man.
A Measure of a Man is what the episode is called.
Kanye Singh. Whatever. Anyway, yes, and I'm really glad you used that word tension. Um, Back to the actual set itself. You notice how there's a dark and like kind of underscored color palette to the whole thing. It's a series of you know
There's a lot of
dark
blue in
gray,
it. A lot of
dark
gray, a lot of blue. Yeah,
dark grays and a lot of darker grays.
yeah.
Basically, and I think that helped like really sell that claustrophobic feeling, really enhance the tension.
Hmm.
What I really like was the use of the lighting, how tense scenes are usually accompanied with red lights,
Yeah,
and then the peaceful scenes are usually I swipe my card, it turns blue, yay, I go into that room,
right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas every time the lights went off and usually the power went out, and it's usually when Ava would say something very serious,
Hmm.
uh, the color would turn red, and all of a sudden there's sort of this, and while they're bathed in this red light, there's all of a sudden sort of urgency and sort of you know impending hazard, the impending doom that sense you get from the just having that red light there. And I thought it's a smart way to kind of, maybe a little heavy-handed, but a smart way to kind of like really enhance the tension in scenes.
So now, did Nathan know that she was creating the power outages? Do you think?
uh, I don't believe he did.
See,
I believe he did really think that no, wait, I'm sorry, you're talking about Nathan.
Nathan, yeah.
uh Yeah, probably. There's probably some small suspicion in his mind about it.
Well,
You know,
when you watch the videotapes of all the other robots that he created, that he and the closets that you go into, there's like 4 or 5 other robots that he created before Ava. So he would have to have a correlation between Ava existing and the power going out to know that it was her doing it. So he kind of killed himself. Sorry, spoilers. He kind of killed himself by allowing Ava to by A, pursuing this level of artificial intelligence, and B, after everything that has gone through, not removing or not putting in kind of a RoboCop style directives of do no harm, because this goes all the way back to Isaac Asimov, and this is where RoboCop got his 3 primary directives. Is that and they talk about this in iRobot too, which isn't another great movie about whether robots are intelligent or not, but do no harm to humans. How come that wasn't the first thing he programmed into Ava? How come he?
because there's a difference between Ava and the robots in iRobot. iRobot are robots. They're computers with legs. Ava is supposed to be a self-aware human-like being. So if you program something into her, you don't program like people. You can instill or you can teach them about laws, but they still have the capacity to break them.
Well, that was the whole thing with going back to Star Trek with Data and his twin brother Lore. Lore never had any kind of ethics programmed into him, so he was kind of a loose cannon, whereas Data did.
So yeah, Ava is closer to a true AI than Data or his brother are. Lore. By the way, I wrote down. I like this actress. She conveys like real kind of like genuine. It's not stiff, robot acting.
Hmm.
It's the reverse Data.
Hmm.
Data, especially from seasons 3 through 7, was very much a machine kind of like cadence and sort of behavior. Whereas this girl, she plays it like a human being who's just learning everything for the first time. And
Yeah,
I enjoy that about this. It was a refreshing way to see that sort of AI presented.
it would have nice to have seen her dance the robot at the end.
And then you have to go and ruin it like that. By the way, I'm pretty sure 3 of us are involved in this podcast.
I don't think Mario's quite awake.
I'm here.
Yeah, but you're not quite awake.
What? No. I'm just listening to you guys.
Okay. So do you have any thoughts as far as the AI goes, or the programming? Because as far as like ethics go, aren't ethics programmed into us? We're taught ethics from our parents through what they
I,
do and what they say.
Yeah,
and,
but we also have the ability
no,
to
go ahead.
know a lot of those.
Yeah.
If our parents tell us, "Hey, that's hot," then we say, "Go fuck yourself," and then touch it anyway because I did that. You can listen and you can understand, but you can also forego whatever they say. Whereas if you write something, in AI, if you write, "Hey, that's hot, therefore do not touch," a computer really can't go around that. So I forgot where I was going with this.
You're agreeing with me that Ava's a better AI than the ones in iRobot.
There you go. That's it. Because she's more humanistic about it. Because she can understand, oh, this is going to cause this emotion. And, actually, my first thought was, does the AI, because they are still they're not cyborgs. They're robots still. They have no humanistic functions to them. Even their brain is just a mush of data. So were they? Fuck me. Give me a second. Hold on. I got distracted by my cat.
You
So
pet
so
people.
were the no, she's playing with a cardboard tube. It was kind of cute. But my first question was, do the does Ava and Jade and was it Jade and Jasmine and all them? But do they all have the 3 rules of robotics to them? Obviously not. because they eventually ended up stabbing what's his face. By the way, why did that Asian chick have a knife at the end of the film?
That is a good question.
Okay.
Asians make a mean wonton.
That I was just curious because she came around the corner and I'm like, why does she have a knife? Like,
Well, she might have been making sushi. He looked like the kind of guy that probably would eat sushi.
Yeah. I mean, and he was eating sushi, but that was my first question. I was like, because they never really explained where the kitchen was in relation to where the hallway is. So I was confused, and it took me a second. I was like, oh, she must have come from the kitchen. Because normally after the sessions, it's dinner. So I was like, okay, maybe that's what it was. But
well, they were in the kitchen once towards the end when he was trying to get Caleb drunk for the third time.
Right. But then again, it was 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just after 10 p.m. actually. So that really threw me off guard. But you know, do they have the rules of robotics?
Well, obviously they don't.
Obviously
they're
they
all
didn't.
trying. Yeah.
Right. Obviously they didn't because they ended up just murdering one person and then inadvertently killing another person. Well, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she didn't inadvertently.
It was a passive kill. But I think that's what made this AI a lot smarter, was the fact that she could basically wipe her hands clean of everything in one simple way. In just one simple movement, she was able to get rid of everything. And also, she used the fact that, what's his face, Caleb loved her, to trap him and to kill him.
Yeah. Well, then
use that against him.
In essence, the Caleb, Nathan is making basically psychopaths.
Yeah. And aren't humans all kind of like that?
Without any kind of, life lessons taught to us by, our parents and our friends. Yeah, we could be like that.
Because even she said it herself. She's essentially a 1 to 2 year old with the cognitive ability of a 30 to 35 year old.
Right.
So she hasn't had anybody tell her, hey, murder is bad because this is why. Hey, don't shove a penny inside of the light socket because this will happen. You know, don't hold the firecracker. You know, things like that our parents tell us.
Yeah, well,
maybe not the firecracker for everybody, but you get what I'm saying. So yes, she is smarter than the robots and AI, and it's only for the fact that she's artificial intelligence, just through and through. She was artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Whether or not she was the best artificial intelligence, we don't know anymore because Nathan is dead, and the only test subject that was able to test anything or even knows about her is dead now. So yeah, she was damn good. She was damn good AI, but she was just misled. I don't know how else to put that.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you would, when coming up with something like a robot, and apparently they're very easy to kill. He just hit her with a handle to his weights. So he was able to break off her arm doing that. So they would be easy to put down, but still, I mean, until you figure it out, until you catch them, there's a psychopath walking around that you created. Right. That you need to put in some sort of safety features. If you're going to have something that is indifferent to whether you live or die, you think you'd want to put in something to make sure you didn't die.
Right, and again, Ava was another test subject.
Mm-hmm.
Or she was another test. She was still being cultivated into the perfect AI. Mm-hmm. She just happened to kill everybody before, all of that was completed.
Again, I think the fact that she kills people is, if Nathan actually programmed something into her that kept her from killing him, she wouldn't be an AI. She'd be a computer. An AI is supposed to be like you or me, independent thought, and eventually, you know, ultimately we're able to think, for ourselves. And take the, I don't know if you guys been watching the news, but there's this guy that's been driving around in Michigan, Detroit, just shooting people at random. They caught him this morning, thank God.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, there. Ultimately, that happens. Somebody can choose to do that. In spite of knowing all the terrible things that, doing, just how terrible that act is, and the terrible things that will follow. If we actually, if you program some, we're not programmable. We're teachable. There's a difference. We're given information. What we do with that information is up to us. We're not, enslaved to that information.
We're still programmable. I mean, you can still, if you're depressed, you can have drugs to make you less depressed. It's a way of programming or rerouting your systems to be more effective.
I feel that's less programming and more just it's like a computer has problems sending information through a certain series of circuit boards, and what you've done, because you feel that that's the right way to do it, but you've taken out a few of those circuit boards.
Okay.
That's not the same as reprogramming something, but again, programming to me is like a hard science. It's programmed into you. You do it. Whereas if you teach somebody something, or if you teach them the law, eventually they have the choice on whether they follow the law or not.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, then why do you follow the law?
Because I don't want to go back to jail.
Yes.
Well, then, isn't that a way of programming?
No, it's a that's just a deterrent. What that is. I have self-preservation at the end of the day, and that's apparently so does Ava. By the way, we were talking about the tension earlier.
Yes.
I like the score for the film because a lot of it isn't music. It's just like really, like intense noise. Kind of like Christopher Nolan trailers.
Yeah.
I thought that added to the film too. Dark color palette. No windows. It's claustrophobia. The movie Her. You know what really made me think Caleb may have been an AI? It seemed like Nathan was testing him at the same time.
There was a lot of that going on. That's why at one point I thought everybody was a robot.
Yeah. And it didn't help that Caleb immediately anthropomorphizes Ava. He walks in there and yeah, he's there to test her, but from the moment he sees her, it seems like he immediately thinks of her as a person. He's just so in awe of what he's looking at, and then you could have suggested that she was actually a human being turned into a robot, and he probably would have believed that. By the way, I do really like the CGI, Mario. You wanted to see this movie for that, and I do enjoy it, which is, pretty cool considering it was made for only like 15 million.
Yeah.
And I thought the actress playing her was again, she was the anti-Data. Everything looked smooth, but there was, for instance, that killing scene where he stabs her, where she stabs Nathan in the chest. That was very machine-like, was it not? Very slowly, just kind of like like an incision straight to the chest.
Also, I mean, it doesn't help that when she said, I'm not too sure if you guys actually caught it because she said it was very low, but when she said, it's when he's in her room and he tears apart her picture, and the reason why he tore it apart was what she said. I'm not too sure if you guys heard that.
No, I didn't actually.
Okay. But before he tore it apart, she asked him, how does it feel to have created something who hates you?
Yeah.
So I think that was another part of her humanistic feel, was when she looked him straight in the eye and stabbed him.
Yeah, that's just it's more that existential stuff that I really liked about this movie. By the way, this movie is several genres rolled into one: sci-fi, existential, and 70s trippy like acid movies. That scene where he cuts himself,
Yes.
that was very 70s acid trip.
All right. So, any last words about Ex Machina?
I like it.
Me likey.
Okay. Well, it was a decent film. Would you see it again?
But who are you asking?
Both you guys, either one.
Oh,
Mario, would you see it again?
yeah.
This was your first time seeing it, right?
In its entirety, yes.
Okay. You've seen bits and pieces of it?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. This is the first time I actually sat down and watched it.
Okay. And would you watch it again there, Jamal?
I'd have to be in the right mood for it, but yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So it's my pick for next week, is it not?
Sure.
Okay.
I was like, are you waiting for confirmation?
Well, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because last week was Fast and Furious, so that was Jamal. Okay, so yeah, it is my pick this week. Okay. And I'll do you a favor, Jamal, since you've been griping about the picks of movies that I've had recently.
It's just, when was the last time you just watched like a decent comedy or something?
Well, no, I'm gonna do a movie with your most favorite actor in the world in it.
Wait, Tom Hanks? Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh.
Really?
Yes, we're gonna do a Tom Hanks movie,
Sweet.
Bridge of Spies.
I'm in.
Okay. This is nominated for an Oscar this year, so
Was
might
it?
as well watch
Okay.
it. Yeah, for Best Picture.
Yep.
Okay.
Along with The Big Short, I've seen that. Mad Max Fury Road, I've seen that. The Martian, I've seen that. The Revenant, which I'm a little bit afraid of. I don't know if I really want to watch that one or not.
The Revenant?
You mean The Revenant?
Revenant, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I was like,
Okay.
wait, what the fuck is the Revenant?
Okay. Yeah, I was confused too.
Room, Spotlight, and Brooklyn.
By the way, Room seems like that dark subject matter movies that I don't like, but it's done in a way that you don't actually see the dark stuff. Like, you don't actually see her in prison for all that long.
Is this like a Truman Show kind of thing where he's just? Well.
Say that again.
Is it? I'm looking at the poster for this, and it's a room, but it's painted up to look like the outside. So I was wondering if this was like a Truman Show kind of thing.
No, it's a you know how those are like real life stories about guys kidnapping girls and then keeping them in their basement for so long.
Yeah.
This is a story about a girl who had that happen to her, actually gave birth down there and managed to get out, and her reassimilating into the world. And I know it's got a really great cast. God, what is his name from Shameless?
Mark Wahlberg.
Yes, Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark produced that. That's awesome.
It's a Kevin something. He was in Fargo too.
Kevin Smith.
Damn it.
Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Kline. Kevin Costner.
I'm gonna say Hercules was in it just to make my day better.
When we're done, are you gonna watch some Hercules?
God no, it was a shitty movie or other shitty series. However, I will watch the fuck out of Xena, Warrior Princess, because
Lucy Lawless is fine.
She made me feel things, dude. She was 18 when she made that. Did you know that? Or when she was shooting those?
I did not know that.
She was 8 fucking teen.
I didn't
And
realize.
if you look at her now, she looks the exact same.
She's a developed 18-year-old, and she's still hot now too. By the way.
Fuck yeah.
Alex, you're gonna tell us you think Xena's hot too?
That was quite the tangent.
She makes my giant tickle.
And on that note, If you want to learn what else makes Mario
Yeah, go
stop
on, say it.
tickle,
Do it.
you can head on over to our website, mof.ninja. MOF like
Wait.
on film. What?
Wait, like MOF dot ninja.
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of .com, it's .ninja.
MOF dot ninja.
Shut your mouth hole.
Because we're cool like that. And there you can listen to past episodes. You can listen to the new episode. You can leave us messages and comments on each episode.
Yeah. Yes. You stop writing. Why'd you stop writing? You know we worry. Write us.
Just say hi and that you've listened to the show. You don't even have to say whether it's good or bad. Just say that you did.
Yeah.
And that would be nice.
I'd let Lucy Lawless fuck me.
You can mention whether you like Lucy Lawless or you dislike Lucy Lawless.
Okay, if this ever gets back to her, don't kill me. Like, I'm just putting that out there now, because it's the internet and it's always going to be up there.
It is always going to be up there.
Yeah.
And she will come for you someday, and not in the way you want.
No, isn't she like, how big? Isn't she like 6 feet?
5'9.5".
Is she 5'9"?
Yeah.
She's still really fucking tall then.
You know, if I'm gonna die, if
She's
I'm gonna be
5'10".
killed,
She's as tall as me. She's 5 goddamn 10.
Yeah.
you're not 5'10".
Put her in heels, man.
Yeah.
By the way, if you got to be eviscerated by like a gladiator sword, I'd rather have Xena do it.
Wow. So I typed in Lucy Lawless into Google, and it came up Lucy Lawless, and then it finished with net worth.
Do you search for net worth quite a bit?
No, like that was just one of the Google searches. Apparently, a lot of people
want to know her net worth.
Yeah, want to know her net worth.
What is her net worth?
It's a lot more than all of us combined in our entire lifetimes.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
My Google finishes Xena, Battlestar Galactica, Roll, and Salem.
You know, she was in the first Spider-Man film.
Really? As what?
Yeah, she was one of the people that they interviewed. She had like a quick 30-second thing. She was all gothed out and had a nose ring.
Huh.
I'll have to check that again.
Oh, she's
Jamal, go to Google, type in Lucy Lawless, and then go all the way down where it says searches related to Lucy Lawless. First one, net worth.
Well, it's going to say that now because I actually did type in net worth.
Oh, you're a piece of shit then.
It's 15 million.
Yeah.
She's also in the new TV series Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Yes, she is. And it's really fucking good, by the way.
She was in Spartacus, Blood and Sand as well.
Oh, she was in Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, she's Ron Swanson's new wife.
Ron Swanson, yeah. That's the name I was looking for.
She's in a movie called Bitch Slap, which I believe you can find on the Netflix. And then she did a couple episodes of The L Word. So you know what that means.
I don't know what L Word is.
It's a show about lesbians. Henceforth, the L Word.
What? They do that now?
They did. The show's over.
I missed it? Oh.
I'm sure you can find it on like Hulu or Netflix or something.
It's on the internet somewhere.
But yes, it's called The L Word. It went 6 seasons.
Well, she was an 18 for that. Xena Warrior Princess happened in 1995. She was born in 1968.
She looked 18.
That is the first time that phrase has ever been used in reverse.
Yeah, I know, right?
Most of the times when Mario says that, it's the reason why he went to jail.
So, there was one time I was in one of Dave's class, and he comes in and he goes, "Hey, I need to speak." Like, he bursts into class, and he goes, "Hey, I need to speak to you." And for whatever reason, my first thought was to scream out, "Dude, she told me she was 18." The look on his face was just like, I can't even be mad at that. And did you really just fucking scream that out in the middle of class?
Well, what do you expect when you get like that coming from your teacher?
I didn't know. I had no other comeback other than she said she looked 18, Dave.
All right. Wow.
By the way, he texted me.
Really? What's he
Yeah.
going on?
It was on New Year's. And obviously, this was a while back, but he's like, "Hey, Happy New Year's, man." I'm like I had to look at the phone number to make sure it was actually him. I was like, "Huh, I haven't heard from him in a while." I texted him back, and then that was it. He was done with me. Oh, accidentally opened up porn. My bad.
Oh, by the way, I got a message on Facebook from you guys remember Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
From Cliche, asking me if I wanted to do stand up. Apparently, they're doing it every Monday down at the Congress. If you guys are interested.
When did you get that message from him?
About a week or two ago. About a week ago.
Yeah, he messaged me a while ago about something like that too.
Oh, basically he's saying you're not important.
Wait, what?
You.
Oh, okay, whatever. But I'm thinking about doing it. You?
Let us know. I'll come out and support you.
You don't want to do it yourself though?
I don't know. I'll think about it.
I'm gonna throw cabbage at you.
Why cabbage?
Because it's funnier and it doesn't hurt as much.
Wouldn't tomatoes also be good?
Yeah, but tomatoes just get sticky and they're everywhere. Cabbage, when it hits, it explodes.
You imagine somebody who's just a dick and really doesn't like the guy just throws a potato at him. Just chucks it right straight at his head.
That's mean, man. Potatoes are hard.
I know.
Potatoes are hardcore.
By the way, how is our viewership going?
Our highest rated show so far is still the
Making a Murderer.
Making a Murderer. Thank you. It's at 400 views even right now.
I'm telling you, it's the stuff that just like recently comes out and then do something about it.
Well, that's another reason why I wanted to do Bridge of Spies.
Okay.
Because it is a pretty recent film. I'm trying to see if there's anything new about Christopher Boyne on the internet, but I forget how to spell his last name.
R-A-B-O-I-N.
Oh, you remember Greg Menino, who did Artificial?
Yeah.
Yeah, he stopped by where I worked the other day, and I told him about that too. He was just like tripped out about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's quite the.
It's jarring, is what it is.
I've gotten high with that guy. You know how weird that is? Like, he could have fucking snapped and just murdered all of us.
Yeah.
Boyd?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the question. If you could program ethics into Christopher Boyne, would you?
No.
Really?
He deserves everything that's coming to him.
He might have been a nicer person and definitely would not have killed his girlfriend.
Yes, but we also wouldn't be...
Ignoring the fact that you're playing God?
He was the common enemy that we all enjoyed having.
Oh, believe me, there was enough people at school that could have been our enemy.
I knew the guy for a total of a day, and he was my enemy too.
Here we go. So I look up Christopher Boyne, and I look up images. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Image number 8 is Bob.
Jesus.
That kind of sucks.
Sucks for Bob.
Why? Click on that. Click on the picture. What's it about?
Something about one of the films they did. He's standing there in his tactical vest with a boom mic next to a camera.
I was gonna say it must be for one of the films anyway.
48-hour movie challenge.
Do you think?
I know which one that is.
Yeah.
I think I worked on that one. Anyhow, guys, I need to get going. I got a call for work, so.
Okay. Well then, thank you for joining us, Mario, and thank you for joining us, Jamal, and we'll see you all
I'll
next
have
week.
coffee next week. So
I love you all.
yeah, that's my line.
Beat me to it then.
Just beat him up. You're coming into town.
Are you?
End of March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After I pay off my tickets, I'm saving up for my trip out there.
All right.
Right on.
We should do this show all together.
Join the makers each week as they discuss film, TV, and pop culture. To learn more about them, go to mof.ninja. This is Sean Connery saying goodbye.
She looked 18.